you were one of the first to really bring out the whole concept behind uh,
Telling the truth, keeping it real.
well, the unlearning. And so being able
Well,
to
I don't know if I was the author, I may have just been the one that exposed you to it.
maybe, but at the same time, like I was pretty immersed in self development, especially like on social. I didn't really hear many people talk about it besides yourself. Uh,
Hey, you know what? And I'm just, it's almost like, self-deprecation a little bit. Maybe I am a genius. Go ahead, keep going.
yep, yep.
Enough about me. What do y'all think about me?
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like look at all the crap that's been swirling around, with the interwebs, when it comes to like, hey, how do you become successful? I love this stuff that you're putting out, man. Like it's just straight to the noggin, real, practical information. And the thing is that just bothers me so much is that people are still waiting for like some sort of secret sauce, like some magic recipe that's like it cannot be this simple, it cannot be this easy, and it's just a matter of being able to put in the work, put in the time.
I got the recipe, brother.
What's the recipe?
Mindset, skill set, and habits.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this: what if you come from like the shittiest part of town, coming up in the shittiest predicament with maybe no parents, worst case scenario? How do you get yourself into a mindset to at least get into the path of success so that you can develop those habits and skill sets?
Well, Mo, the problem is everything you just listed had nothing to do with the mindset.
Well,
You listed all external things that mean nothing.
I know that, but I'm
So you haven't told me a problem yet.
okay. So
What's the problem?
the
The problem is not that you're from a shitty home and your mom doesn't love you and your dad didn't love you and all that shit. That has nothing to do with nothing. Next.
the problem, bro, is that you get all these kids nowadays, and not just children, but you get this victim mentality, this mindset that oh woe is me.
Yeah, but that's their parenting or their and a lot of people parents take offense when I say it's parenting.
Yeah,
Guys, don't give yourself credit for being a parent just because you handed them an iPad and let them grow up watching the internet. Because
yeah,
if the internet's teaching your children,
yeah,
right,
yeah.
then that's the problem. And or the school system. Because
That's
again,
yep,
let's be honest, the school system,
yep.
teaches the kids whatever they want the kids to believe. And if you don't think there's any kind of uh let's just say viewpoint from the majority of the teachers, are they more liberal and over here, or are they more conservative and over here? Like, where are they? Because again, if they're all the way over here, well, then your kids are going to come home thinking all the way over here, right?
Right.
I mean, dude, if I'm going to teach your kid and I'm thinking way over here, what do you think I'm going to teach your kid?
Well, of course.
I'm going to teach them what I think and what I think's fair and unfair and yet. So we have to go to the source, and that would be the teachers. Now, personally, again, I homeschool my kids now, so
Yeah.
I just grabbed a teacher that leaned, not too far left and not too far right, but right in the middle,
Mm-hmm.
and had a little bit of faith and religion, and had some sort of spiritual compass, and I hired her to teach my children. Now, what am I teaching them? Well, dude, just your basics right now. They're young, reading,
Yeah.
writing, and arithmetic, like old school. Not no core math, not no weird shit, just basic core fundamental principles. And the rest is social skills, teaching them stuff that's going to actually make them successful in life. The habits of the few.
What do you think's going to happen? Well, let me ask you, not you particularly, but let's just say, I have little children,
By the
and
way, is this thing going to start, or is it already
oh,
going?
it's been going, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is live. Well, it's not live; it's recording, and then we do everything in post. But my thing is that I fear the next 20 years for my kids. Now, I'll do everything right. Right, I'll make sure that they've got the best of the best in every case scenario. That we position them the right way. Make sure that the world isn't influencing them.
Can I interrupt you?
Yeah,
You fear for your kids.
I fear for the environment of which they're going to be placed on, even though they're going to have all the weapons at their disposal.
Okay. Can I say something to
Well,
that?
absolutely.
If you fear for your children, that means that you are anticipating some dismal outcome in the future, correct?
Okay, poor choice of words. I'm looking at the state of what we are going through right now in the world, and it's just
And you're anticipating some reaction or impact on your children, and you fear for them because of that.
Well, yeah. I mean, look what it's doing to people right now.
Okay, so here's my response. Fearing what's going to happen in the future is almost futile. Like, there's no reason to fear it at all. To acknowledge it, to be aware of it, to prepare for it, different story. But to fear it is totally and 100% entirely useless. Other than for motivation. Like, again,
Right.
fear is for motivation.
Right.
But other than that, I say, listen, guys, and this will sound harsh, but it's the truth. Your kids, bro, they're going to die. How you like that? They're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
You feel sorry for them now? No, they're going to die, dude. How much worse can it get than them dying? And they're going to die. Just like you're going to die, just like I'm going to die, our children are going to die. And we know they're going to die. I know that right now. My children will die. How come I don't fear that? And of course, it's like, well, nobody wants to see their children die. Well, of course. Why would you fear that, though? Because you anticipate some future feeling.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's
there's
like
there's no value in that at all. What you need to figure out is what is happening now, like right now. What's happening with your kids right now? How can you best make an impact, make them smile, happy, bing, 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 and you live in the now, and you just don't focus on this big scary future that may or may not come, because 9 times out of 10, the things that you fear never happen.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't agree with you more. Absolutely. And again, I think it was a poor choice.
Be at ease, my son.
Thank you, Sensei. I think it was a poor choice of words, because it's like it's almost like the inevitability. How are you going to navigate in a world? Like, the way I look at it is like you're literally walking through fire right now in every which way direction. And if you don't have the tools at your disposal to be able to navigate your way, then you're screwed. And so, like, you can give them everything you possibly can at their disposal, but ultimately, if we look at, and again, this isn't fear, this is logic. If we look at, where things are heading from a trajectory, as of the state of our nation now, the world really, to where we could expect it or guess or estimate it's going to be the next 5, 10, 15 years, it's not looking the greatest. You know what I mean? Do you agree, disagree? Like, or this is just all absolutely moot at this point?
I mean, listen, dude, I'll get to a point where people will just check off what I'm saying because it's just too damn optimistic.
I love the optimism, though, but that's why I'm talking to you.
I know, but I mean, again, when I hear these dismal future, what are you going to do? And everybody's like, well, what's going to happen? I don't even think about it. Why? Because it, number one, hasn't happened. It hasn't happened. So if it hasn't happened, why am I worried about it? I'm worried about shit that has or is happening. And if it hasn't happened, why I got to worry about that right now? Let's wait till it happens. Fair enough?
Yep.
So now it just changes my whole perspective, where I'm not even worried about stupid shit like that. Number one, I don't believe half of it. Number two, I think we dictate our future a little bit, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, so again, like when people say, oh, it is to be what it is to be, that's not true. Otherwise there'd be stories of people doing nothing but laying on the couch and they got whisked away in a private jet and became multimillionaires. No, bullshit. That ain't how it happens. Right?
Right.
So how does it happen? Well, listen, I can tell anybody, you want to be successful? I already know exactly how to do it. I'll teach everyone exactly how to do it. Number one, you got to identify what success looks like. Why? Because if you don't know what you're looking for, how are you going to find it? So number one, you identify what is successful, and based on what you think it is, not based on what society tells you it should be, because then you'll end up getting it, and then you're really not fulfilled at all, and you're sad, and you're thinking that they were right when they said money wasn't everything. Well, again, that's because, listen, the way you get anything you want is you figure out what it is. And then secondly, you figure out how to get it. Now, some people will be like, well, no kidding, Brad, there's the tough part. No, that's the easy part. The tough part is figuring out what it is. The easy part is not the hard part. The easy part is figuring out how to do it. Why? Because once you figure out what that looks like, you figure out how to do it by simply finding someone who's already got that, who's already done that.
Yeah.
And then you say, what did that person do? Not what did they say? What did they do? Because again, don't do what I say, do what I do. See what I'm saying? You do what they do, don't do what they say. There's a big difference. So like Gary Vee, for example, he said, don't do what I do. Don't do what I say, do what I do. Well, what he means by that is like, if I say go do this, but I'm not doing it, why would you go do that? And if I say go do this and I'm not doing it, why would you expect me to not do it? Once you start thinking like, wait a minute, this don't make sense, right? It's real easy to see this bullshit.
Yeah.
Well, because wouldn't you be doing the same thing? So you find someone who's already done it, and then you do the work. That's the third step. And most people fail at this one because they don't really want what they think they want. So they don't do the work. They make it, they negotiate themselves out of it. And if they do, it's because they don't think that they're, worth more, which is the problem. If you want to raise your net worth, you got to raise your self-worth.
Yeah.
And you do that in a particular way. But at the end of the day, you have to first be, aware and acknowledge that, you're not allowing yourself any more success. There's people all the time that want their privacy, but they want to be successful. Well, again, folks, I guarantee you, the more attention you get, the more success comes your way.
Yeah, you sidestepped over something that was really important, and I probably went over a lot of people's heads, but you said that they negotiate themselves out of it
all day long.
Like, think about that for a minute. Like, you're literally you're telling yourself, you're trying to negotiate, you're trying to convince yourself that this isn't what you want, when in reality it is what you want. It's just that you don't have the tenacity or the will or the discipline, or like you said, the skill sets, habits. Let me ask you this. What is like a simple strategy just to be able to start to unlearn all of the things that have, shaped your programming, and you're trying to get out of, let's call it the rat race, trying to become successful, trying to be a better version of yourself so that you can start implementing good habits that are going to lead you to your success? Do you have any like specific tactics that we can implement?
Well, you have to say it a little bit more succinctly. Ask the question succinctly.
How can we unlearn the programming that has made us fail in life?
The only way to do it, believe it or not, is to replace it, because you can't erase it.
Okay.
So you can't erase it. You got to replace it, and you replace it with new information, new beliefs. Because right now, those are just beliefs. Yep. that need to be changed, and you change beliefs by getting new information.
Yeah.
So you're out there seeking new information, and then you'll start to realize, oh shit, man, when you unlearn, it's because you learned something new. You can't erase what you learned. You have to change your beliefs about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like limiting beliefs about money, like, do you believe that there's only a little bit of money in this world? Do you believe that people like you aren't going to make much money? What do you mean people like me? Exactly. I don't know. What do you mean? Like, what do people actually think when it boils down to the truth? And the truth is, hey, if you're not making a bunch of money, how come?
Mm-hmm.
How come you're not making a bunch of money? Well, I'll tell you why. Because you don't know how. If you knew how, you'd freaking make a bunch of money, wouldn't you? You're not telling me you don't want money, are you? And if you are, bullshit. You were just missold and mistold.
Yeah.
Okay? You want money. Trust me. You want money. Okay? I can convince anyone in the world that they want money. I could have got Mother Teresa to agree that she wants money. And guess what? She would have agreed. Even Mother Teresa would have agreed that money is good to have. Why? Because with all the money she had, by the way, and she wasn't broke, all the money that was spent on her behalf and in her favor was a lot of money. What's that mean? Well, that means even Mother Teresa, dude, knows money's important. So if you think money's important and you're not making any, how is that in alignment? It must mean you don't know how to make any money. Because if you knew how to make money, you would. So that's how you guys can tell that are listening to this if you know how to make money, because you're making it. And if you're not making it, well, then your mouth should close, your ears should open, and you should start looking for someone who's merely already accomplished what it is you're trying to accomplish. That is how to do it. So the figuring out what it is, that's up to you. You just get to choose that. Like, what is success?
Yeah.
And then it's okay. This is success. Okay. So now step 2 is, How do I do it? Well, you find someone who already did it and ask them what they did. That's as easy as that gets. And then boom, you do the work. If you don't do the work, it's because you're consciously aware that you're out there in the world, but you're subconsciously unaware that you're worth more than you're getting. And that's probably because all the recordings throughout your life convinced you that, dude, you don't deserve any more than this. So in order to literally solve that, you have to build your confidence. You have to get rid of your past. See, most people are worried about their future, and now the problem is going to be a lot of people live in the past. We want to live in the now, Mo. In the now, like right now. And here's what's crazy if you think. Right now, when is that? Was that 2 seconds ago? It was then. It isn't now, because now is now. And by the way, now is gone. Literally, it's no longer now when I said now. Why? Because that now went by.
Yeah.
You know, time's ticking, time's going forward, man. And you cannot reverse time. Everybody knows this. So far, we cannot reverse time. So if we cannot reverse time and you realize that it is flying forward and you cannot go backwards, what are you thinking? Hopefully you're thinking time management, right? I'd be worried about the now, what's happening right now. I'm not worried about what happened 10 years ago. Okay, I can take what happened 10 years ago and use it to navigate today, but I'd still be focused on today. And then again, the rest of it would just be make adjustments. So figure out exactly what you want, right? Find someone who's already gotten it. That's how to get it. Do the work they did, okay? And then freaking make adjustments along the way. Like pay attention and make pivots and moves when you hear and see things. Like pay attention, be aware. That's how you get anything you want in life, and that's how you guarantee yourself success.
I love it. That's freaking awesome. I wanted to ask a follow-up.
This podcast is worth millions to
millions of dollars. And listen, I'm not joking. I've followed your stuff for a while. Obviously, big fan.
How many times did you unfollow me? Tell the truth.
Bro, I've never unfollowed you. You think I'm some weak little man?
Tell the truth.
Come
you got
on.
all a couple times, I guarantee.
Absolutely not, sir.
All right, well, good. Then you're one of the real ones.
Do you think that intelligence is a requirement or a prerequisite for success? Let's say, hypothetically, that I do everything that I'm supposed to do in order to achieve my definition of success. But let's say I maybe have not had the benefits of an education and this and that, whatever. Do you think it is a prerequisite, or do you think that hard work, like that whole quote, hard work can beat talent when talent doesn't work hard type of scenario? In your perspective, you've been in business for a long time, you're at a high level for a very long time. I'm sure you've seen everything across the board. What is your perspective?
It's a good question. What's your perspective?
I think it depends.
Depends on what?
I think it depends on, like, what are you trying to be successful at? Like, if you're trying to be a successful astronaut and perhaps you don't have
Can I ask you a question? If you say it depends, then how are you expecting an answer from me?
Because I think you're smarter than me.
No, dude, because it does depend. Everything kind of depends on something, doesn't it?
Of course.
So that's why when people ask me questions, I almost don't want to answer them, because like, I don't know enough about the situation. I don't know if it's this or that.
But that's your answer. I mean, I know. And that's
if I said the whole time, every time someone asks me a question, I say depends. You know, people get tired of answering me questions.
I get it.
Which I like. So again, restate the question succinctly.
Okay. So I'm going to give you, I'll be specific in example purposes. So in the world that we live in today, with the opportunities that we have for online, if I wanted strictly just to make money, just money, do I have to have a level of intelligence or just the work ethic?
The work ethic. There's idiots making a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the work ethic that kind of trumps the rest of it. Because again, I know smart people that are broke because they don't have any work ethic.
Yep.
I know dumb people that are well off because they have work ethic. So work ethic, I think, is the big deal. Now, I think both is the correct answer, because ideally, guys, listen. When I say there's dumb people out there, I'm not just trying to be a smart ass. I'm telling you the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. There's some dumb people in the world. They're not that bright at all. Like, dude, it blows my mind. Like, sometimes I cannot believe what people have never heard of or know, when it, to me, is the most basic common shit since childhood. Now, I fail to realize that everybody's different. Everybody's had different experiences. Everybody literally is living a different experience. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Like, we all see each other as we're all human and everything, but dude, no one's lived your life but you.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy to think? Only you have experienced being you. Isn't that crazy, dude? So if you realize everybody's only had their own experience, nobody shared a freaking experience with others. Like, again, oh, well, we shared that experience. Yeah, you're talking about a fraction of the experience I'm talking about. You can share experiences, but at the end of the day, we all have our own individual viewpoints and perspectives. And the question in my mind is, what separates us? Well, in my answer, it's that. That's what separates us, our perspective. My perspective is based in optimism. Why? Because I'm an optimistic individual. I see the positive in things. I understand gratitude. I realize that waking up this morning was worth more than any amount of money I could make today. So I already win just because I woke up. Like, literally, you could say, Brad, I'll give you $100 million, but you can't wake up again. Pass.
Yeah.
I'll give you $1 billion cash today, but you'll be gone tomorrow. No, thank you. Literally, not even tempted. So if that's the truth, well, then every day I wake up, dude, that's worth more than $1 billion to me. So I should be equally as excited as receiving $1 billion or something even more valuable than that. And we don't do that as human beings. We get up and we take everything for granted.
Absolutely.
So you got to have a level of gratitude, and that gratitude shifts your perspective to where now you're in one of optimism. Like, I'm happy to be alive and healthy and able to talk and see and be mobile, because there's a bunch that aren't. There's a bunch that won't be tomorrow. You know, there's people tomorrow that are going to get some news from a doctor that's not very good.
Yeah.
There's people that are walking around right now thinking everything's hunky-dory, and literally 3 weeks from now, your whole life's going to be turned upside down with some sort of freaking crisis. And you're going to remember listening to this, and you're going to go, holy shit, he willed this to happen to me, that son of a bitch. No, I did not. I'm just telling you the truth. The truth is that shit happens. So what do? Well, dude, that's why you wake up, okay, and you realize you're you, and that should be the most important person in your freaking entire universe. And you take care of you above and beyond everybody, and that is how you take better care of everybody else, by the way.
Yep.
And so once you remind yourself that you're actually worth something, your self-worth starts to increase, and then, believe it or not, your net worth will follow.
I think that's one of the greatest lessons that I personally have ever learned, which was, you know, that being realistic is the most common path to mediocrity. And then also understanding that without the gratitude of each individual day, I found that anything, the days just blur together. It's like you go through a year and you've just done the same thing over and over again and nothing really to show for it, and not really appreciate the fact that you've had time. And that time is the thing that could have allowed you or enabled you to do the thing that you wanted to do, or at least, you know, make a ripple, or whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, if you're trying to accomplish anything in the first place. I think a lot of times we just get stuck in this never-ending cycle of repetition, where every day it seems like Groundhog's Day, right? You have kids, you've got a family, you go to work, you run a business, whatever, day in and day out, and nothing really changes other than like the minutia, these little tiny details on a day-to-day basis that are almost irrelevant to you. And then the things that become so drastically important and in hindsight are absolutely insignificant. You know, it's like, I appreciate what you said. We take everything. I think we humans as a species, we take everything for granted.
We certainly do. And see, I don't. So that's why I think I've got an advantage over a lot of people that haven't figured out that simple gratitude is literally what changes the world's color. So like, there's people walking around that think everything's doomy and gloomy and cloudy and gray. and I'm looking at the same exact picture, seeing freaking sunshine and rainbows.
You always like that?
Unicorns with glitter shooting out of their ass.
were you, were you always in that frame of mind, or at least
No, I was not. I had to develop that mindset. I had to literally learn. I was just like everybody else is. You know, I walked around and freaking, you know, I thought the whole world owed me a living.
Yeah.
And, you know, until I was about 30 years old, I focused on getting rich myself.
Yeah.
And it was all for me. I just wanted to get rich all for me. And at one point in time, I helped someone make money, and I liked the way it felt because I helped that dude make money. I watched his life change. And I thought, dude, that's cool, man. I'm going to help other people. And I didn't even think about the money. I just thought I'm going to go do something and help other people. Now I'm going to charge for it. I'm not an idiot.
Yeah, of course.
That's how you make money. You solve problems and you charge for solving people's problems.
Yep.
If you can find a lot of problems to solve and charge a little bit of money, it's still a lot of money because you found a lot of problems. So you find a lot of problems that you can charge a little money, or you find a few problems that you can charge a lot of money. But that's how you get rich. You solve problems. So you look for problems. Most people try to avoid them, and then you solve them. And if you're good at it, you can charge money to solve the problem. Because people don't really buy products and services; they really buy solutions, right?
Yeah,
they're buying the result. Like
yeah.
I'm not looking for a car per se. I'm looking for, you know, transportation to and from, and you know, groceries and stuff like that. So in other words, at the end of the day, man, people are all individuals, and it's if you're listening to this podcast right now and you're wondering, you know, how come I'm not successful? And by the way, you're the one that decides what successful is. It's no monetary amount. Although in my book, you know, successful is you got enough money to do what you need to do and basically want to do.
I want to pause you because you said something before that really resonated, and I agree. Life starts at $30,000 a month.
Well, again, that's where life starts to be okay.
Yeah. I agree. I just wanted to touch on that for a second, because people are like, well, that's a lot of money. Like, yeah, but look at how much things cost in you know, relative to that. If you have a family, if you want to be able to do things.
I know, but people will call you pretentious if you have nice things.
Yeah.
Somebody will say, "Hey, Brad, is that a Submariner on a rubber strap?"
Yeah, it's gorgeous, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
But I say no. It's a Yachtmaster, white gold,
beautiful.
And if you don't know what it is, well, then frickin' you wouldn't know what it cost.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, who would spend, you know, stupid amount of money on watches?
I would.
Well, yeah, because we're watch guys. I know people with way more money than me. They don't have one watch.
Yeah, I don't get
Matter of fact, they do. They have an Apple Watch, which I make fun of.
Oh my gosh.
So again, like, does that mean you need kick-ass watches to be rich? Hell no. But I can promise you this kick-ass watch and my other kick-ass watches have started a lot of conversations that turned into a lot of money.
Yeah, I believe it.
Had I not had the watch, I might not have got the comment that caused me to say this, that caused that to happen. So when it boils down to it, and you can erase all the nonsense and sugar-coated bullshit we've been taught over the years, at the end of the day, it boils down to one thing: relationships.
Mm-hmm.
The reason you don't have what you want right now is because you don't know the right people. If you knew the right people, you'd have everything you wanted. You're one handshake away from getting everything you want. That's the truth. It boils down to relationships, dude. And the more hands you shake, the more money you make.
That's nice. That was in the book, wasn't it?
Well, I've been saying that for years, but I don't know. I got to go read my book again, I guess. Have you read it?
Of course. Have you read it? Absolutely, man. I bought it when you were promoting it on Instagrams and the TikToks.
Dude, it sold probably 18 to 20,000 copies, and I didn't even try. Everyone says that's good.
That's like, real good.
Freaking damn good. I'm like, damn, that don't sound like that many. I got almost 1 million followers on Instagram, 2.3 on TikTok. All of them real, by the way. I believe it. Yeah, so dude, you'd think I'd sell 2 million books. You'd think all my freaking people would go buy one.
Yeah, TikTok's engagement is like, I would say TikTok's like 2 to 3 cents a follower, and like Instagram is like 80 cents, and then YouTube is like $4.
Yeah, YouTube's back
audience.
Yeah, backbone of it all.
Yeah. No, I think you crushed it. It was great. You should do a follow up.
Follow up to what?
To the hard way.
Yeah, maybe one of these days. I got real businesses I'm dealing with, bro.
No,
I'm not
I know.
I'm not a guru trying to get you to buy my
That's why you
teachings.
got to do it. That's why you got
I
to
know,
do
but
it.
my whole job was to get you to buy what I'm teaching. Well, then, dude, I'd make a whole lot more money. But right now, my dumb ass is actually still doing the doing.
Yeah.
I'll do the teaching once I'm done doing the
Why
doing.
don't you just do like a digital, like Kindle version for 99 cents and just sell 10 million copies? The Alex Ramosi did it that way. He's still killing it.
Yeah, but Alex didn't sell 10 million copies yet.
No,
He's on his way.
I know.
Alex is a obsessed maniac.
Yeah.
Okay. That dude that dude, number one, is insanely smart.
Yeah.
Number two, he's insanely organized. Number three, he's insanely disciplined. Like, dude, you can't, like, everything he's got going from, like, when people look at him, he's all buff and shit.
Yeah.
They don't see the fucking hours of discipline that had to be put in to look that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
They just see that he's buff. Oh, wow, look, he's buff. Nobody says, holy shit. The discipline that went in to look like that is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Number one. Number two, being insanely smart. He ain't stupid. But again,
I think he's brilliant, but yeah.
Most people do think he's brilliant. And if you ask him, he's not. He says, dude, it's common sense. But that's my point to the earlier conversation where I'm like, you'd be surprised how many people out there don't really know even the simplest thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting here talking about it like it's normal and everything's normal. Now, there's two types of people in the world. Some of them, I'm talking about the ones that don't know what I'm talking about. There's some of them that are going to freaking deny it. Oh, this guy's an arrogant prick and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, they're still going to be dumb and broke.
Yep.
And then there's people that will be like, oh my God, I think this guy's the truth. I don't think he's trying to sell me anything. I think he's trying to tell me something. And that is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to wake people up. It's a very simple, alarm clock. Like, wait a minute, hold on. Who's in control? You, motherfucker. You're in control.
Maybe your next book should be Wake the Fuck Up.
Dude, if your shit ain't going well, go look in the mirror. If you're not where you want to be, why? Answer the question. Tell the truth. Why aren't you where you want to be? It's got to be because you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't know, I just told you exactly how to find out. You figure out who already got what you wanted to get, do what you wanted to do, go where you wanted to go. And you said, how the hell did you do that? And then you do that. And I'll bet you anything, 90% of the time, you're going to end up a winner as well. Why? Well, because like action causes like result. Now, there is some talent involved where maybe I will got a little farther than you got, but you still got somewhere is the point.
Right.
The point is listen, I'm not going to go out and play for the Lakers tomorrow, even though I want to. And I asked Michael Jordan what he did. But literally, if I did what Michael Jordan did, I would be on the fucking Lakers too. Why? Because I would have practiced as many times as he practiced. I would have been playing as many games as he played. I would have been eating what he ate. I'd have been going where he went. I'd be knowing who he knew.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, if I got to 30% of where you're at, I'm still going to be miles ahead of where I'm currently at now.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, dude, all you got to do is figure out who's already been there, done that.
Yep.
And then you freaking find out exactly what they did, not what they say they did, but what did they do?
Yep.
Well, how do you do that, Brad? You pay attention, you buy their books, you learn, you join their courses, their classes, you hire them to mentor you, you hire them to speak. I don't know. You figure out who the hell they are and what the hell they did. Like so many people are afraid to pay for answers. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, the fastest way sometimes is just to pay for the answers. Somebody said, Brad, how do I get a day with you? One day I said, send me $25K. He sent me $25K. I said, come on in. He said, what day is good for you? I said, dude, you bought any day you want. You can sit here all day long. I'll even take you to dinner at the end. Now, what I do all day is whatever I'm doing that day. You're just welcome to be here. I called it Shadow Brad Day. Matter of fact, it's still a product and people still buy it, but it's $25,000. Why? Because if anyone's willing to give me $25,000 to hang out and ask questions for a day, number one, I think they're smart, so they already deserve it. Why are they smart? Because, dude, 25 grand is nothing if you can show up and get the answers you're looking for to get where it is you want to go in life.
Absolutely.
Like, I wish I could have paid $25,000 to get where I'm at. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. But anyway, long story short, buddy, life is what you make it. and it's not as difficult as everybody wants to act like it is. So we need to unlearn what we've been taught from the old school that would tell us money doesn't grow on trees. There's scarcity, there's limits, be humble, don't act too important, don't think you deserve everything, calm down, pipe down, don't draw attention, fly under the radar, keep your mouth shut.
God.
All the shit that just doesn't make any truth.
No, you're literally just labeling my childhood.
Yeah, and again, it's mine too, and a lot of other people did, but it didn't ring true.
No.
Like, it doesn't ring true. Why? Well, because when I keep my mouth shut, nobody listens. When I talk, people listen. When I keep my mouth shut, nobody listens. Now, some people could argue there's nobody listening when I'm talking either. But I would disagree because I've got 3 million followers.
Right.
So somebody's listening.
Absolutely.
And guess what? I get 100 DMs constantly. How I've changed literally their life, been literally the reason for their successful marriage, business, and et cetera, et cetera. And I just give them a fist, like, boom, that's why I do it, man. Why? Well, because if I can help you avoid the problems that I believe everyone's going to experience eventually, and you can get there faster, quicker, better, stronger. Do we live in a more successful world? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so the only way I can live in a better world is to make the world better, to make you better, to make everybody else better. Right now, again, where does it start? In my opinion, it starts with yourself. So before you try to make the world better, make yourself better first, which I've already done that part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm better. I'm way better.
And now you're just trickling on everybody else that wants to listen, that wants to learn, that wants to observe.
Key word wants. I always tell people, if someone's not listening, stop talking.